Dream Vision 7 Radio Network welcomes Seek Reality with Roberta Grimes, heard every Monday at 11 a.m. and 11 p.m. Eastern Time. Using nearly 200 years of abundant and consistent afterlife evidence, quantum physics, consciousness research, and ancient writings, we seek to understand who and what we are, how reality works, the nature of God, and the meaning and purpose of our lives. Join Roberta weekly to better understand our one reality and gain insights into how we can make the most of the glorious eternal beings that we are.
Welcome to Seek Reality with Roberta Grimes. Joyous conversations about what the afterlife evidence and modern science combine to tell us is true about our one reality. You have nothing to fear. You are eternal and you are perfectly loved. Knowing the truth changes everything. Now, here's Roberta.
Welcome to Seek Reality. Of course, I'm Roberta Grimes, and I'm thrilled that you're with us today. Thank you for joining us. Last week, we talked about the fact that I'm a dismal failure at meditating, just can't do it. Now, this week, our topic is going to be about something else that I cannot do. I'm being very humble right now. We spend about a third of our lives asleep. It may be the busiest third of our lives. And while our bodies are asleep, actually, our minds will astral travel, meet with our spirit guides, spend time with dead loved ones, take classes, believe it or not, and generally have fun being our genuine selves for a little while outside these temporary and very confining bodies. But all that our waking selves ever know about what our minds are up to at night is that we dream. That's true for most of us, of course, not all of us, but that's all I know about it. And for the most part, our dreams seem to be nothing. Mine are. In fact, I usually don't even remember them. They generally make little sense, even if we remember them when we wake up, and they tend to leave our minds by lunchtime. But there are some dreams that have more impact. Sometimes our spirit guides will give us dreams full of symbols that are messages from them. Sometimes loved ones who have gone on ahead will give us wonderful communication dreams. And we know they're communication dreams between you and me because they stay fresh forever in our minds. I've only had 2. I remember every bit of them, even today, more than a decade later than the last one. And then there is the phenomenon called lucid dreaming. I know very little about lucid dreaming, but I've known people who were so deeply into it that they seem to see it almost as a happy hobby. Our guest today is an expert on lucid dreaming. David Lowe is a former religion professor who today does dream work, substance abuse, counseling of all sorts, and meditation instructions. He has studied world religions extensively, and his book on religion is his 2014 volume called Universal Spiritual Philosophy and Practice, an informal textbook for discerning seekers. It's a wonderful book. I interviewed him about this, I think, about 2 years ago, and he was with us after that to talk about dream work. His passion is helping people to tune in to more profound dimensions of their own spirituality, and we are all unique people, so actually I think we have to accept the fact that each of us has a unique path to getting there spiritually, which is why what the work he's doing is so important. But he and I think a lot alike. David, I am delighted you're joining us today, and I'm thrilled that we get to have a chance to talk about something that actually is, again, something I know nothing about. Between you and me, everyone, I learn more than you do in many of these interviews. So welcome, David. I'm delighted that you're here.
Well, thank you so much, Roberta. I will say that doing an interview with you is cooler than average as a radio. So that is wonderful to be here. Thank you so much.
Dear David, you're the first person in my life who's ever called me cool. So I will hold that in my heart, just between you and me.
Okay.
So tell us a little about your background, because you've been a spiritual seeker more than most people have been, and even then a religion teacher. Tell us about your background.
I was adjunct professor 10 years, drug counselor 7 years, full-time seeker 6 years, India, ashrams, the whole bit, yoga, meditation 40 years, going down more than one blind alley, my own issues with dyslexia, not dyslexia, kind of hyperactivity, social issues in college, but I pretty much got over those. So yeah, I've been through a lot, and I've had a lot of powerful opening enlightenment experiences. Not the final one, but I have I've pretty much gone pretty far on the spiritual path so far, perhaps, maybe not. But dreaming has, been involuntarily more. I've done more dreams than average in terms. I seem to have the internal disposition which causes me to dream or to remember them more than average. So I'm in a pretty good position to write and help people understand more about their dreams and lucid dreaming. Yeah.
Okay, well, so here's the problem for me. It's not a problem. In fact, I kind of like it. I almost never remember a dream. I'll wake up knowing I was busy someplace else doing something else, but I don't remember what it was, and I just get up and go about my day. I communicate with my spirit guides in the night, and very often, because that's our deal, when I wake up in the morning, I'll remember pretty clearly what it was they told me, but only that. I don't even remember where we were when they said this. The words are just in my mind. But that's all I get out of my nights that I'm aware of. Why is it that some people dream and remember vividly and some don't?
There is really that is a really mysterious question, because everyone dreams every night. We know that for a fact, in terms of brainwaves and so forth. So exactly why, you can remember. If you do spiritual practices and you keep yourself out of your comfort zone, you take an interest in dreaming, you read books on dreaming and can keep a diary and so forth, you will remember your dreams more often because you're taking an interest. God, you're basically putting God on notice. Hey, I'm interested. Okay. But, obviously not all dreams are remembered, even by people who dream a lot, who remember their dreams a lot. So we really don't know why all dreams are not remembered by everybody. That's a mysterious question about spirit. One interesting issue with spirit guides is that eventually, upon full enlightenment, we are everything. We are God's self, completely, totally, and absolutely. So our spirit guides are part of us. Okay? Of course. The more readily we can talk to them at will, the more readily we should take what they say with a grain of salt. It is important. It's probably very important to listen to them, but they are us at the same time. And at a certain point, we will no longer need them, which is very powerful to really understand. And but they're wonderful. I have some myself. There are 3 or 4 guys who show up, not when I want them to ever, but they will come when they're needed. And I don't ever know when that's going to be. But eventually, I will embrace them in some profound sense, and they will become part of me. Talking, just to finish a little discussion about spirit guides, one of the things everyone should know is that we all have at least one guide who signed up with us to help us with our life plan in this lifetime. Many of us have many more than one guide, just simply because as we get interested in something, you want to learn piano, you'll probably get someone who is a piano teacher who will be your guide in that. I write a lot of fiction, although I haven't been publishing much lately, and I, turns out, have, I think, 3 fiction teachers, and I even know the name of the lead one. They're helping me do that. But the difference between my work and a lot of people's work, David, is that apparently I came in with a specific purpose in mind, and my primary guide is the person I am helping to do work that he didn't get to complete in an earlier lifetime. It's a deal he and I made. So wow. I finished my own work, spirit work in this lifetime, what I had set out to do and to learn, and now I've given the rest of my life basically to God and to my primary guide. So it's from his point of view, he doesn't want to be in communication with me more directly. He doesn't even want me to dream. This is what I think is going on. He wants me to follow his direction and do the work he and I agreed that I would do. So that's my deal. But I know it's not everybody's deal. Most of us are here primarily working on our own life plans. So that's why I'm interested to know how people can use their dreams. And we'd like to talk about this first, I think, and then we'll get into lucid dreaming. How can people listening use their dreams to advance their work in growing spiritually in this lifetime? The major thing is to start a dialogue with them. One part of your personality, a deep part of your psyche, does understand dreams, no matter how symbolically mysterious they are. It does help to have people help you understand them verbally on the conscious level. But the major thing is to get that dialogue going. Write them down, try to figure them out. Even if it's just 10 minutes a day, 4 minutes to write down bullet points of like major scenes and things that were said. Not the whole. It can take you a half hour to write down a big dream. So people don't have that kind of time. There's 3 minutes, just bullet points. 3 minutes banging your head against them, trying to figure out what the heck they're saying, and 2 minutes expressing yourself in frustration back to God in your diary. What's going on? Give me another symbol. I went through this yesterday. I don't have time for this now. Please, what's going on? I need more direction. So it's your job to express frustration back in your diary and meditation and so forth through appropriate ritual means, but mainly getting that dialogue going on a regular basis. Keeping a journal, writing down what the heck these dreams are, just bullet points of major things, trying to figure them out. I mean, bang your head against the wall for a while. 5 minutes a day, or 10 minutes every Thursday or something. Figure something out, some kind of schedule, and just keep that dialogue going. And things, you will begin to get it. You will begin to attune better to what you're supposed to do, and to understanding what they're trying to tell you. And yeah, go ahead and get symbol dictionaries and so forth, but just bang your head against the wall. Keep trying.
It doesn't have to be hard, though. It doesn't have to be painful that you're banging your head against the wall. But it is basically, as Jesus says, seek and you will find, ask and it will be answered, knock and the door will be open. And that's what you're really saying. You're saying it's not going to happen unless you ask. Right.
And take an explicit interest in dreams. That's important. Get a book and read about them and so forth.
And if you're interested in hearing from your guides, what I tell people is, tell your guides you want to know from them. You want to hear from them, anything they want to tell you. Just say, please let me remember something about our meeting during the night. Please leave it in my mind for the morning. And if you do that every night for a month, I almost can guarantee you'll start to remember these things. They have to know you mean it, because if you're just playing with trying to learn and grow, what they're going to do is not respond to it. David, what is dream work? And what are the major schools of thought on dreams from people who are helping people do dream work?
There are 14 official different schools of thought or ways.
Oh my goodness, 14.
Well, no, I mean, there are 14 different ways of working with dreams, 3/4 of which 4 or 5 of which resemble each other, 4 or 5 of which resemble each other in a different way, that sort of thing. So dream work is any effort that an individual or a group makes to understand their dreams. And there are ways of going about that. But maybe a major thing for people to get is that there's 2 levels of dream work. One is a verbal, interpretive, symbolic level. The other is a deeper emotional, embodied level, which doesn't involve direct interpretation. You actually act out or rehearse what your dreams present to you, and in that way get in touch with your issues more deeply, usually more deeply than you would through verbal interpretation. Although verbal interpretation can be very powerful, because all the way that you were thinking that you were kidding yourself about something just get blown away, So, but the deeper emotional dimension can be done. It's more therapeutic, more expensive, and so forth. But there are two levels of dream work. The verbal interpretive is just more available.
Okay, so if you're working with someone, right. What are you able to help them do in dream work?
I would have them write the whole thing out, send it to me ahead of time. My talents are more analytical than psychic. All dream workers I know, there is a lot of intuition involved, but there is always a process of working with the dream to find out what the most important and appropriate interpretation is. So I would look at the dream ahead of time with all my symbolic studies and so forth, and my own intuition and gift for understanding dreams, which I do have a little bit of. You can study and you can get better at it. I have a sort of a gift for it, yes, I seem to. So I would look at the dream ahead of time, and I would need to know a lot about the individual. You can't help someone without knowing stuff about them, especially what they're going through, what their mind is dwelling on. Personal issues, health issues, family issues, and the dreams always and invariably speak to the practical difficulties which the person is going through, almost always.
Practical difficulties, is that related to the spiritual aspect of those practical difficulties, or is it more like, okay, so it's not about, in other words, how you're going to be able to pay off your mortgage, it's more about...
It can be, because that ultimately, your spirituality is going to be enhanced if you can do that, make your life easier.
Okay.